John Cena and Logan Paul. Man, that's a disturbing sight right there. Logan with the world title, Cena with the WWE title. The two biggest heels in professional wrestling were at it again tonight on Friday Night SmackDown in Bakersfield, California. Let's get into it. John Cena and Logan Paul destroying Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Wasn't even close. John Cena gets introduced as the never-seen 17, the last real champion. You know, John Cena says that in his final run as a heel for the first time in 25 years, that he's going to give nothing back to the fans. The fans don't deserve anything for the way they've treated him over the last 25 years, calling it a toxic relationship of all things. John Cena says he doesn't want to give anything to the fans because we don't deserve it. Well, he gave us a pretty badass nickname in the Never Seen 17. I wouldn't have dreamt of that. I wouldn't have thought of that. John Cena given us, at the very least, if anything else, he hasn't given us much. He hasn't given us a Titantron. He's not given us his big fancy colors. He's not given us great promo work. He's not given us great wrestling matches, but he damn sure gave us a great new nickname in the Never Seen 17. John Cena and Logan Paul would then savagely attack Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes. Logan would attack Jey Uso from behind with the knockout punch, and then Cody Rhodes got blasted in the skull with that WWE Championship, the 17th one for John Cena. And that sets up John Cena and Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso tonight at Money in the Bank in Los Angeles, California at the Intuit Dome. John Cena also referenced the guy who shall not be spoken now, and I'm not talking about CM Punk from the past 10 years. I'm talking about R-Truth. The fans chanted, "We want truth. We 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 want truth." And I'll keep going on because we want truth, man. And John Cena says, "We can't handle the truth." Shout out to the great Jack Nicholson. "We can't handle the truth," says John Cena, fixing it because he can't actually express who they're chanting for, much like the WWE superstars in the ring couldn't express who they were chanting for 10 straight years in CM Punk. Remember, they chanted during Seth Rollins promos, during John Cena's promos, during The Rock's promos. CM Punk's name was chanted, and we couldn't get a satisfying answer. Though Stephanie McMahon did trash CM Punk one time on Monday Night Raw in 2016 when she said that I think the chant that the WWE had for CM Punk that night was lasted longer than CM Punk's UFC 203 match against Mickey Gall, which was a savage burn at the time because Mickey Gall crushed CM Punk in his UFC debut. Having me some Coca-Cola here. Just talking to myself on a Friday night at 10 o'clock at the studio. John Cena acknowledges the fact that the fans are chanting for R-Truth, right? But he says, "We can't handle the truth," Jack Nicholson style. He then says, "You want to know our truth?" Not saying R-Truth, but pointing to him and Logan Paul and saying, "Our truth?" Our truth is staring you right in the face. John Cena's walking out with the WWE Championship in December. Logan Paul is going to be the brand new World Heavyweight Champion, even though he doesn't really have a title match lined up. It looks like if Seth Rollins wins the Money in the Bank, he's going to be included in the world title picture. Gunther's going to be involved on Monday Night Raw for a World Heavyweight Championship match against Jey Uso. Jey Uso's the current world champion. I don't know if there's much room for Logan Paul in the World Heavyweight Championship right now, but that is a scary visual that we were looking at on the screen right now with John Cena holding up the WWE title and Logan Paul holding up the World Heavyweight Championship. Because if John Cena truly does leave wrestling and they book it to where he leaves with the WWE Championship and Logan Paul ends up winning the World Heavyweight Championship and he's the true champion in WWE after Cena leaves, well, that would suck donkeys because Logan Paul is a YouTuber that, graciously came into the WWE and has kicked everybody's ass. He's learned faster than any other person that's ever come into WWE. Just think of all the celebrities that have come into WWE and wanted to perform. Travis Scott. Let's start with him. Hasn't competed in a match, and I hope we never see him in a match, but it looks like we might see him in a match potentially at SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium. He's probably someone that's not going to look great in the ring. Bad Bunny is a guy that trained his ass off for years and looked really good. He wasn't like pitch perfect in the ring, but for a rapper, for one of the most bona fide rappers in today's music game, Bad Bunny put on a splendid match, not only against Damian Priest, but also against The Miz and John Morrison at WrestleMania 37. What else? Who else has competed in a WWE ring besides Logan Paul that has made it look somewhat decent? Oh, yeah. Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee's been training for the WWE since he was a child, had a ring growing up, obviously chose the football route, became a Pro Bowl punter with the Indianapolis Colts, started his own amazing sports talk show in the Pat McAfee Show on ESPN, as well as the podcast, WWE commentator as well. What else has he done? College Game Day. The list goes on and on. He's a father, he's a husband, of course, the two hardest jobs in the world. Pat McAfee put on great matches with Adam Cole in NXT. He was in War Games in NXT. He put on a great match with Austin Theory. He put on a great match with The Miz. He put on a great match recently with Gunther. So I guess they did well, but nobody, and I mean nobody, has taken to professional wrestling from the celebrity realm like Logan Paul. His legacy, when it's all said and done, will be that he was a WWE superstar. Not a YouTuber, not a podcaster, not a guy who, does weird whack shit just for the instant reaction of things. But he's going to be known for his time in the professional wrestling squared circle. Mark my words. He's been that good. But despite that, fans don't love Logan Paul because he's just a douchebag. So Logan Paul holding up the World Heavyweight Championship does not spell good news for the WWE fans moving forward. That's why I think he's a real-life heel, and I think he would agree with you. Great host on Impulsive, great celebrity, just a great presence, and him and his brother have done a great job, not taking anything away from them, but, he has a douchebag mentality. Logan Paul and John Cena getting into the upper hand tonight on SmackDown against Rhodes and Jey Uso tells me that Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, my original prediction, is going to pan out tomorrow, that Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso will walk away with a win tomorrow, and I think it'll end in Cody Rhodes pinning John Cena to get that match in Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions, Cody versus Cena. Some shenanigans will probably happen there because it'll only be a 3-week build-up, and then you get another potential one-on-one match between Cena and Rhodes at SummerSlam. Maybe Travis Scott gets involved. Maybe, I'm praying that it doesn't happen, but maybe The Rock gets involved at MetLife Stadium in Jersey as well. But needless to say, I thought tonight's promo after the attack from John Cena and Logan Paul was great. Again, insinuating that he's the last real champion. Take a good look, Bakersfield. This is the last time I'm going to be here. Insinuating that Logan Paul and John Cena are the two men that are going to ruin professional wrestling. And then John Cena, of course, acknowledging the R-Truth chants with "you can't handle the truth," and saying "our truth is staring you right in the face." Well played by one of the more intelligent men on the microphone in the history of professional wrestling in John Cena. With that being said, I think Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso are picking up the win tonight at Money in the Bank. And I also am going to stick with my prediction, considering he kind of took out the rest of the pool tonight on SmackDown. I think Seth Rollins is definitely going to win Money in the Bank, pending any sort of interference from CM Punk, Sami Zayn, or even the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman took out just about everything. They took out Penta, they took out Andrade, they took out, I don't think they took out Solo. They had the opening promo, Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga in the ring, or not Tama Tonga, excuse me, JC Mateo, formerly known as Jeff Cobb. The new bloodline, as it seems to be right now, with Seth Rollins playing mind games with Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa during that segment. But he took out Penta, he took out Andrade, he took out LA Knight. I shouldn't say he mainly. Bronson Reed delivered tsunami after tsunami after tsunami. Braun Breaker with a spear. And then Braun Breaker ended up spearing, I believe, Aleister Black. I almost called him Malachi from AEW. Aleister Black, who just returned a couple of weeks ago, he got speared by Braun Breaker, and I think that probably sets up a future match between Seth Rollins and Aleister Black. Maybe a year or two down the line, they're not on the same show. Aleister's on SmackDown. Rollins is on Raw. Special occasion tonight because Money in the Bank's in the same arena tomorrow in Los Angeles. But Seth Rollins winning the Money in the Bank ladder match with what he did tonight makes all the sense in the world. Why not? Unless they're setting it up to where he's been so dominant and he's the clear favorite that they set up the big return in a big city, in a big market in Los Angeles for the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins at SummerSlam makes a lot of sense. though I'd prefer to save it for WrestleMania in the main event, in the same arena in which Paul Heyman screwed Roman Reigns, and I prefer to have that match be in the main event of WrestleMania for a world championship, whether it's the World Heavyweight title or the WWE Championship. I'm going to throw the WWE Championship back on the table because not only did Seth Rollins and his crew beat the crap out of Penta, not only did they beat the crap out of LA Knight, not only did they beat the crap out of Andrade, they also had a confrontation at the end of the night before the main event with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Now, this is interesting because obviously Seth Rollins versus CM Punk sets itself up. Obviously Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns sets itself up. We haven't really thought about Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes. Obviously, Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes have a long history. WrestleMania 38, the return of Cody Rhodes that night, defeating Seth freaking Rollins, and then having 3 more matches after that, one concluding inside Hell in a Cell when Cody Rhodes had a completely torn pec. Seth Rollins, this version of Seth Rollins versus this version of Cody Rhodes needs to happen at some point. I know they're on separate shows. Rhodes is on SmackDown, Rollins is on Raw. Rollins has his handful for the next year with CM Punk, with Sami Zayn, with Jey Uso, with Roman Reigns. Who else knows, right? But Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, I mean, that's your Rock versus Stone Cold right there. That's your John Cena versus Randy Orton in this day and age. Cody Rhodes, the squeaky clean white meat babyface versus the brand new villain Seth Rollins with Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. Because Cody Rhodes could also feud with a Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed. You know, there's a lot to tell in those stories, and Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman's mic work and their promo work together has always been gold. So that's a feud that I'd love to see within the next year as well. Cody Rhodes taking on Seth Rollins. Maybe Cody Rhodes wins the championship back from John Cena in his final night, only for Seth Rollins to cash in and become the WWE champion. That sets up Rhodes versus Rollins for the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, and then that sets up Rollins versus Reigns potentially in the main event of WrestleMania 42. That's what I would go with. If Seth Rollins doesn't win the Money in the Bank contract tonight in Los Angeles, I think it's got to go to Solo Sikoa, considering he's the only guy that didn't get his ass beat in Bakersfield, California on Friday Night SmackDown. Solo Sikoa winning the Money in the Bank contract makes sense in the sense that I don't know what the story would be yet, but I think he needs a big win following a big 2024 that resulted in the first 6 months of his 2025 being absolute dog shit. I mean, when he lost the Ula Fala to Roman Reigns on Raw on Netflix's debut on January 6th, his career went to shit. He did nothing after that. He wasn't in the Royal Rumble. He came back and Samoa spiked Cody Rhodes for no ungodly reason. It didn't go anywhere because then Cody Rhodes and The Rock had their whole spiel at the Elimination Chamber for his soul, which John Cena got involved with, obviously, as we remember. Solo Sikoa didn't even have a match at WrestleMania. He didn't do anything. He became Jacob Fatu's sidekick, and now Solo Sikoa is like trying to take the group back, and it's weird. He brought in Jeff Cobb to help Jacob Fatu, and now there's this whole little tension between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu, which is why I think Solo Sikoa has a chance to win Money in the Bank, because you could tell the long-term story of Jacob Fatu winning a world title, and then Solo Sikoa cashing in on Jacob Fatu, and then that sets up Solo versus Jacob a year from now for a world title, whether it's the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship. So Seth Rollins, maybe Solo Sikoa for Money in the Bank. With the beatdown tonight in the promo, I'm going to assume that Cody Rhodes is going to pick up a pinfall victory against John Cena tomorrow night. But then it all depends which main events the show. Is John Cena and Cody Rhodes' match going to main event the show, or is the Money in the Bank ladder match going to main event the show? If the Money in the Bank ladder match main events the show, Roman Reigns is definitely showing up, in my opinion. And that would presumably end in Seth Rollins not winning the Money in the Bank contract, which I think that's the best storyline moving forward, in my opinion. But CM Punk, Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns, there's a lot of people that can screw Seth Rollins. The main event potentially being John Cena and Logan Paul versus Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes either tells me Cody Rhodes is going to pick up a pinfall victory against John Cena, or we're potentially going to see a cash-in, because apparently Triple H, Paul Levesque, the man who runs creative, ladies and gentlemen, the chief content officer of the WWE, he's not the biggest fan of the Money in the Bank contract. He had never won it in his career. He had never been cashed in on in his career. He had never even been involved with the Money in the Bank throughout his career. He was too big of a guy. You know, John Cena wasn't involved until 2012. Randy Orton wasn't involved until 2013. There were a lot of guys that were not involved in the Money in the Bank ladder match or even close to Money in the Bank. Triple H had never touched in his career. Apparently, he doesn't like it. That's why Drew McIntyre cashed in right away last year. Though Tiffany Stratton had one hell of a cash in against Nia Jax on the SmackDown season premiere last year. Triple H apparently isn't a fan, which is why fans think that if Seth Rollins wins it, he might cash in right away, potentially against Jey Uso to win the World Heavyweight Championship, though I don't see it happening on the night of. I could see it happening 2 nights later. If Seth Rollins wins the Money in the Bank contract on Saturday and Jey Uso barely defeats Gunther on Raw in Phoenix, Arizona, Seth Rollins can easily cash in, win the World Heavyweight Championship. I think that's why Gunther and Jey Uso are facing each other for the world title on Raw instead of Money in the Bank, because this tag team match is kind of random. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso teaming up against Cena and Logan Paul. I mean, it's a filler. It continues the rivalry between Jey and Logan, and it also gives a filler month PLE in between John Cena and Cody Rhodes' next match, maybe because there's no rematch clauses anymore. John Cena is not going to just give Cody Rhodes a rematch. Cody Rhodes is going to have to pin John Cena to prove that he deserves a rematch for the WWE Championship. Who the hell knows? But if that is the scenario, Seth Rollins potentially walking out with a World Heavyweight Championship after cashing in Money in the Bank on Monday in Phoenix, Arizona, after Gunther probably beats the crap out of Jey Uso, but Jey Uso finds a way to retain, or they make it a triple threat match, and then Seth pins Jey, which does not make Gunther look any more weaker than he does right now. I mean, he beat the crap out of Pat McAfee, which made him look strong, but it's a commentator. And then Gunther tapping out to Jey Uso at WrestleMania in Las Vegas to start WrestleMania Saturday this year. Though Gunther doesn't look weak, they probably don't want him to get pinned again. That's my guess, is that whoever wins Money in the Bank might cash in on Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw. And the most sense that would be is to have Seth Rollins win the Money in the Bank contract.